Yes.
That's why I have a problem with the Michigan team who won a national championship.
To drop.
You're a major program in this country. Receivers are all over the place.
Yeah.
That's Michigan's calling card, and Ohio State's too.
That's right.
They always have 3 or 4 receivers locked and loaded, ready to come in when the other guys leave.
No.
And we didn't see that.
No, we did not at all. And it's really shocking to me, to be honest with you. Again, receivers are a dime a dozen. There's hundreds that come out every year that are good because, again, they get developed at a young age with these 7-on-7 drills that they have all around the country. And so good receivers are everywhere nowadays. And to have like none of them play for Michigan right now, that really isn't, it makes it look like the cupboard was really bare when Jim Harbaugh left, but I'm not sure that was necessarily the case.
You think Bryce Underwood will help attract some receivers?
Oh, I think so for sure.
Should be kind of fun.
Who wouldn't want to?
Yeah.
His again, some of the comparisons that they're talking about, they're saying a collegiate Vince Young. Remember what he was like in Texas, and the things that he did.
Yeah.
That running it, but and they consider Bryce Underwood a pocket passer, but he's super athletic too. He runs when he needs to, but the kid can put the ball. A lot of the recruiters, the big time recruiters through 24/7 Sports say he'll start day one. He'll walk into that program and he's going to be the #1 quarterback, and he'll start game #1 for Michigan next year.
That'd be fun to see, fun to watch. To see a kid from just on the road in Belleville.
Right.
That's going to be fun.
It is going to be fun. Yep, local boy, and that's one of the things I saw that he put out there on X/Twitter was that he hometown hero is what he put, a picture of him in a Michigan uniform, and then that's one of the things he put. Oh, yeah. But that Belleville program really has become on, and really they've gotten some major players there. Really top-end talent. Yeah, they've won 2 championships with Bryce Underwood. Went to another stage. Now they got beat last week by Catholic Central. It must be very good. So he's got a good resume. He's going to come in with all the shine, and that's what all the fandom of Michigan, they're going to be going crazy for sure. Which started last night. Let's go for it. There is. Oh, pretty bad, terrible. Okay. Almost 2 touchdown favorite. That's but you see some things from Michigan State. That quarterback, he's inconsistent, but you see some of the athleticism you see with him and some of the play that they had. They're not horrible Michigan State this year.
They need to win these next 2 games to get the 6 wins.
Bowl eligible. Right. That would be a huge boon for them, for sure, to go first year, like you said, a head coach, and for them to, if they are able to go to a bowl game, that's again that extra month of practice that coaches love, and you see the development of these younger players a lot. That last month of preparation really helps out the whole program long term.
Hi, guys.
Hey, we got J.J. Rowell at the helm now.
I hope to be known better, not better than not horrible. They're horrible, but not horrible.
Yeah. Well, we did. Yeah. J.J. manning the board now.
Brought in the righty.
That's right. Yeah, went to the bullpen. Speaking of, we will definitely, later on, we're going to talk a little Tigers stuff. Oh, yeah, we got it, because we haven't had a chance to talk to you about that run that the Tigers went on. Terry Scuba winning a Cy Young. Oh, yes, a good young team. and what we need in the future, Keith, that's all going to be good as well. So.
Plus, we have to talk about that important signing that the Red Wings made yesterday. You didn't hear about this? Okay. All right. Well, more on that. Let's step aside and get the TVC Airport feature with JC and Kevin on, and then when we come back, we'll talk Lions, we'll talk Red Wings, and we might even mention a little more Pavel Datsyuk. You're listening to Up North Sports Radio.
It's time for Destination MLB. Jerry Coyne and Kevin Klein from Cherry Capital Airport. Tigers are really having an exciting season, Kev.
It's time to fly. Start your next comfortable, convenient journey from Northern Michigan's hometown airport, Cherry Capital Airport in Traverse City. TVC makes your trip easier with affordable terminal-adjacent parking and all the friendly airport services without all the crowds. Fly from Cherry Capital Airport to your dream destination on Allegiant, American, Delta, Sun Country, and United. Visit tvcairport.com and fly with TVC, Cherry Capital Airport in Traverse City.
Join the Traverse City Record Eagles 11th Annual TC Trim Down. It's a great way to get healthier, and you could win a share of $1,800 in valuable gift certificates. Male, female, and co-ed teams of 2 or 4 can register now through January 7th for just $10 a person, a portion of which goes back to local food pantries. Achieve a healthier you over the 10-week virtual competition and benefit for a lifetime. Register now through January 7th at tctrimdown.com.
The people you know, the name you trust. North Central Area Credit Union. Integrity, service, and value, you can count on us. North Central Area Credit Union.
NCACU can help you out for the holidays with Christmas loans up to $2,500 with a 1-year term. Plus, they offer low-rate Visa cards and double scorecard rewards for November and December.
North Central Area Credit Union.
Federally insured by NCUA.
Hey, it's Anthony Bellino from Spin on Sports, Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show on the Great Voice Radio Network. Heard live weekday mornings from 6 to 9 right here on Up North Sports Radio 101.1 WGRY. Whether it's Tigers, Pistons, Red Wings, Lions, Michigan State, the Big Ten, the Mid-American Conference, all the headlines, all the stories, and always Michigan teams first. It's all right here on Spin on Sports, weekday mornings from 6 to 9 on the Great Voice Radio Network. Heard locally on Up North Sports Radio 101.1 WGRY.
It's time for Destination NFL. Jerry Coyne on the phone with Kevin Klein from Cherry Capital Airport. And Kev, do we still have time to get to Indy for Sunday's game?
Yes, you do. 7 o'clock tonight. Get on board that American Airlines flight for 288. So no delay. Got to get out right now. So let's go. Yeah, it's going to be a great game and great opportunity. And I'm sure tickets are easy to come by.
Last time I looked, you can get into Lucas Oil Stadium for under $250 a seat. I know it's last minute. How pricey is that flight going to be tomorrow?
Oh no, that's actually so.
Oh, that's tonight. Excuse me. Yeah.
Yeah, tonight at 7 o'clock, 288. It's actually, I'm shocked that we didn't see that price change, but that's held consistent now for the last month at that price, and it's holding as a last-minute offer. So some opportunity to go to Indy. Yeah,
we're treating this as a public service announcement for all Lions fans.
You can't see them in Detroit because those tickets are about 4 times that amount, but you can see them in Indy.
Yeah,
there you go.
That's crazy. And I know we've been looking at the San Francisco 49ers price has been going down, and is the Bears price still Chicago in December? Is that price still about $250?
Yeah, it is. It's $242. It dropped about another $8 from what we. So you got some good fares for the Bears, and then it's about $600 for the 49ers. So not too bad. It's hovering, keeping steady in there. But the one that shocked me, Jerry, we've been talking about is the U of M game going down to Columbus here at the end of November. that skyrocketed. That went, I think we were talking last week, at around $500. It's now $953. So I guess that's the popular game going on right now, to see the Wolverines and the Buckeyes there. So
okay, well,
pretty crazy numbers, but all things considered, Super Bowl,
yeah,
New Orleans, $493. Buy now.
Yeah, you got to buy that now. I guarantee you, once the playoffs starts, that's going to be double or triple that.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. And hey, for the shameless plug for all the Christmas holiday travelers, if you want to get out of the winter, you know, a little taste of snow overnight here the last couple days, we're looking at Punta Gorda for the Christmas holiday, 118, Fort Lauderdale, 132, Tampa St. Pete, 159. A little bit more for the mouse, but still awesome at 312.
Yeah. Those Florida getaways on Allegiant can't be beaten, and direct flights all from tvcairport.com. Kevin, thanks for joining us. Go Lions.
Go Lions.
Welcome back to Up North Sports Radio and Friday Faceoff. JJ in for JC. And thankfully, I'm the only J on the roster today. Rick Hawkins and Keith Gave in studio. And they were talking destination NFL, so why the heck not? Let's talk about the Lions.
Let's talk about them there, Keith. We haven't had a chance to hear what you think about a 9-1 start to the season. What are some things that you like, or what are still some concerns at this point? No. Yes.
Watch him get injured and walk up the field and just kind of hold his arm and say, yeah, it's broken. Like, it's broken. These guys, like football players, hockey players, their tallest is off the charts, obviously.
Yes.
But he is such an important player.
Yeah. He is. And they talk, you know, they always talk about staying away from cluster injuries in one. And the defensive side of the ball, you know, the Aiden Hutchinson, the Marcus Davenport, one of the free agents, and now Anzalone, and guys like that. So, and Barnes, the other linebacker, got hurt early in the year.
But this is, I've always liked Jack Campbell.
Oh, me too.
And this is
I liked him at Iowa, and I like him on the Lions.
Yeah. We're going to see more and better Jack Campbell if that's possible, and I think it is. And what about the new guys, Darius?
Oh yeah, was the Darius Smith, the free agent, signed or got at the trade deadline? Yeah.
He was okay in his first start with the Lions. Not particularly great, but I guess he did the job right.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, we're going to need him in specific games. We don't need him all the time, but again, there's certain games when we need to close out a close win, and that's when I think you'll see Zadarius Smith shine through brightly for sure.
The office is fun to watch, obviously.
Man.
And frankly, I like this team's mindset, its ability to come back. I mean, that game against Houston a couple weeks ago.
Should have lost that game. Yeah.
That second half.
The first half over, and I said, you know what, I'm done. I'm going to bed. I'm turning this thing off. And my wife said, no, we're watching it. We watched the second half in bed. And like, I had a hard time going to sleep afterward because I was so like, it was just impressive.
It was. My daughter, who lives down an hour and a half outside of Houston, she went to that game, and her husband is a Texans fan, so he's wearing his Texans gear. My daughter is wearing her Lions gear, and so they were, everybody that saw them, they're like, house divided, but it was an incredible comeback by the Lions. And for you throw 5 interceptions, and then and still win the game, that says a lot. I mean, you obviously don't want to do that all the time, but it's obvious that when you can come back from something like that, I'd kind of written it off as a loss. I'm like, it's just not their night. Things are happening, and it's just not going to be in the cards. Well,
You want to make big deal those 5 interceptions.
Tip, one was a Hail Mary. Yes.
I mean, it was a 2 interception.
2 interceptions, real interceptions, yes.
The showing up.
They are.
On the road.
On the road.
They're traveling. You were at the Green Bay game.
I was
Tell
at
us
the
about
Green-
that.
Oh, that was incredible. Just a great, even though people go, oh, how'd you handle all the rainy weather? How did you handle all of that?
Oh, was it raining?
To me, that's it. I said, it was 75 and sunny.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? I didn't hear or feel a single raindrop that whole game.
Yes,
Oh, it was just, I mean, and we went with a great couple from up in Gaylord, and they, it was a lot of fun. And they're just, it was super cool. It was super cool, Keith, to be able to go in to Lambeau Field, take a tour of Lambeau and see all the cool attractions around it. It's awesome there. But to be a Lions fan and to see that much Honolulu blue was incredible.
I was surprised. I was surprised that when the Lions made a good play, there was a big cheer in Lambeau Field.
At Lambeau Field.
Which clearly not the entire Upper Peninsula are Green Bay fans. They got some Lions fans up there, and they showed up. They're showing up.
They are.
And that was pretty impressive to watch. You don't see visiting teams get cheered much at Lambeau Field.
No, not at
don't.
all. You know, and to see this Lions team the past few years no longer having Lambeau Field be a house of horrors.
Right.
Because we've seen
Oh,
the Bart
God.
Starr days.
Yeah,
we've
yeah.
seen the days of, all of that.
My favorite Lions win at Lambeau Field was Aaron Rodgers' last game.
Yes. Oh,
That
yes,
was my favorite.
So, even though the Lions were before the game started, they found like they weren't going to be able, even with the win, they were going to qualify for the play.
Right.
But they still came out and played and beat
They
their
played
butt.
a man's game.
Yes, they did.
It was really impressive.
That was super cool. That really sold me. Not that I wasn't sold on Dan Campbell.
You knew you had something.
You did.
Yep, I
Because
agree with you completely.
A game that a lot of times in years
You
past,
just pack
you
it in
see
and
the
go,
Lions
yeah.
say,
Yep,
we're done.
yep.
The season's over. We don't care about that. But at this point, when you saw how hard they played and to beat Green Bay, keep them out of the playoffs,
Right.
and even though we couldn't go, I said, man, that Dan Campbell he's the real deal.
So they play at Indy this weekend.
They do. And if Anthony Richardson is back, that
Yeah.
young quarterback, he's a big physical specimen.
Yeah.
He likes to run the ball.
He screwed the pooch a couple of weeks ago and got benched, and then now they put him back in, and he played a pretty decent game last time. I'm interested to watch him play.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I am
because of
too.
his.
And they got a good running back, Taylor
Yes.
from Wisconsin.
Yes.
They've got this will be an interesting matchup for sure for the Lions.
This defense can be tough on young quarterbacks.
Oh,
which
it can.
It's,
Yeah, it certainly.
he's
Aaron
got his work
Glenn's
cut out
doing a
for him.
nice job with
Yeah.
the defense. I mean, when you lose an Aiden Hutchinson, you lose guys like, and Hutchinson was playing like at a defensive MVP type
Correct,
level
yeah,
when he got
correct.
hurt. So I'll give some kudos to Aaron Glenn on what he's done so far with this defense. Kind of a bend but don't break.
Yeah.
defense.
So the Lions are 9-1, 8-1,
9-1.
9-1.
Yep.
Their best start in since like almost 100 years.
Yeah, the 30s. I
Yeah,
think
the
it was.
1930, I think.
Yeah.
It's quite remarkable. It's they're proving me my feelings about the Detroit Lions and Detroit football in general. And I've said this on this air before. I've always felt in my heart of hearts that Detroit was a football town
have
more
said
than anything. We love the Tigers, we love the Red Wings, we love the Pistons when the Bad Boys days when they're going good and so on. But we only seen it in little tiny bits and pieces since William Clay Ford Sr. has owned the team. By the way, today is the anniversary of William Clay Ford buying the team. He bought it November 22nd, 1963.
That day
The day
stands out.
the day that President Kennedy was shot, and people talk about that being maybe part of the curse of this team or whatever.
Right.
I remember I saw my father save the newspaper. Kennedy slain. Was the big headline.
Sure.
I mean, great big, and every front page newspaper in the country was all about the Kennedy assassination, except in the Detroit papers, there's a little slice of William Clay Ford Sr. buys the Detroit Lions. He bought them for $6 million. There was a conglomerate of 66 people that owned the team, and he bought every one of them out.
Okay.
And $6 million he paid for that team. People thought he was nuts, paying all that money for that team. It's worth $3 billion today.
Incredible.
Pretty good investment.
That's a good investment.
Yeah, and what's remarkable too is that $3 billion, it puts them ahead of only the Cincinnati Bengals in terms of franchise market values. Wouldn't you?
Wild?
Yeah, I mean, most NFL teams are worth more or way more than the Detroit Lions at $3 billion.
Yeah,
it says a lot about the NFL,
NFL
as a business.
And that's why you see so many people clamoring to try to buy professional sports organizations.
Exactly.
Because again, they know, they see the dollars at the end, and they're going, man, that's an incredible investment.
Yep.
Because of the TV contracts and all the money that's pumped into that now, it's a great investment.
You don't have to win to make money.
No, not at all.
You don't have to win to print money.
And kudos to Sheila Ford Hamp.
Hey.
When she has taken over this organization, that is when everything started to go in the right direction.
When I was here last week, I mentioned this book, this brand new book out. I'm going to talk about it with the author at the Traverse City Opera House on December 18th. The book is called The Lions Finally Roar. And the author, Bill Morris, was very close to the Ford family. His father worked with William Clay Ford Sr. and tells the story of it's as much a history of the Detroit Lions as it is a biography of William Clay Ford Sr. and that family. And he talks about the sibling rivalry in that household, and it kind of explains why after Bill Ford Sr. died, and then Martha Ford, his spouse, took it over, and she retired and was passing along to her kids. Where's Billy Ford Jr.?
Ford Jr.
Nope.
Everybody thought
everybody.
Bill Ford Jr.
I among them myself. I know Billy Jr. a little bit. I know how passionate he is about his this football team.
Right.
But that sibling rivalry in that household is very, very strong. Sheila Hamp grew up as an athlete, a star tennis player, girls soccer coach, all those things, heavily invested in sports.
She played collegiately, right?
Yes,
Tennis?
yes.
Yeah.
And she, she has the team now, and she said, you know what, we're going to make some changes. We're going to get this thing turned around. And damn if she didn't.
Yeah.
Pretty
Behind
amazing.
the scenes, Chris Spielman, one of the
the
you
most
don't talk
important.
about Spielman
Huge.
much, but that guy is the real deal.
She hired the right people.
Yes.
Hired and basically got out of their way and let them do their jobs. But the book is called The Lions Finally Roar by Bill Morris, and it's really worth a read.
No, that's really cool, Keith. I'm glad that you brought that up, because that's a read that I definitely I'm putting that on my Christmas
You'll
list for
enjoy
sure.
it.
I want to read that book for sure. So, but no, it's been awesome for sure. The incredible ride. Enjoy it while you can, Keith. I mean, you saw again, going back to Lions fans, how that NFL draft, you and I haven't talked about that. I went down, JC went down to the draft, and it was incredible.
750,000
sea of humanity everywhere
yeah.
in Detroit, Keith. It was wild.
And zero or less than a handful of serious incidents.
Yes.
People gathering downtown. Detroit really put on a good show.
They did.
Really.
I walked down Woodward from my daughter's workplace all the way down to where the draft was at, and there was a strong presence of police everywhere. Everybody felt safe. It was a beautiful thing.
But we saw that coming, Rich. The night before the NFC Championship game against San Francisco, the game was played out west, but in Detroit there were many tens of thousands of people downtown for that laser light show and everything else. The town was partying like crazy for that whole weekend going into that game. It was the big tailgate party. Again, Detroit is a football town.
It is.
In its heart of hearts.
And you have said, Keith, I will vouch you have said that for years. Quietly underneath this, Detroit is a football city in the state of Michigan.
I saw that when I was 12 years old, Rich. We didn't get to a lot of Lions games.
Sure.
My dad was a factory worker. We couldn't afford a lot. We did, but we went to a handful of Detroit Lions games when I was a kid, 12, 13 years old, at Tiger Stadium, at Briggs Stadium.
Sure,
Briggs Stadium,
yes.
When Alex Karras and
the corner of Michigan and Trumbull.
Yeah, watch them play at Tiger. It was Briggs Stadium then, but with 50,000, 55,000 people, and it was so cold, and people stood the whole time because the seats were like frozen, they're just frozen. And one of my best memories as a 12-year-old is as my dad kind of elbowed me in the ribs and handed me a bottle of blackberry brandy and said, "Take a sip. Don't be stupid. Take a sip." And you could feel the warmth go through it. Oh man, it was like a rite of passage.
It was, yes, no question, Keith. So, but that's fine memory, and hopefully this year or in the next few years we'll be talking about potential Super Bowl victories. That's what the hope is, of course. But I think Dan Campbell and the whole team does a nice job in keeping them focused, not looking too far ahead.
Oh yeah.
Don't be putting out videos. Yeah. Don't be putting out things. Just make the thing the thing.
And don't give me the Super Bowl or bust stuff either. You know,
it's
not gonna.
That's
silly. That's silly. Give us another good ride. Yes. That's all. I'll take a ride like last year. I'd be happy with that.
Yeah. It's just, enjoy, like you said, enjoy the ride, because again, that's half the fun, or 3/4 of the fun.
Mm-hmm.
You know, end result, of course, you'd want the best. You want that to hoist the Lombardi Trophy, of course. But again, just enjoy. If that is purely you're not going to have fun until that point, then you're missing out in a lot of fun.
Well, if we saw the city the way it was in last year, getting one game away from the Super Bowl, imagine them actually in the Super Bowl.
To have 2 weeks to build up.
Imagine them winning.
I
want to see what the city feels like when that happens. Agreed. It's going to be wild. Yeah, if it happens.
Yep, that's for sure. JJ, what do you have to say there, buddy?
I hope it gets there, and I'm just glad they've cleaned up all the old buildings that might be inflamed in a victory.
Oh, well, it's really, I mean, if you haven't been downtown and stuff,
it's beautiful. I was down there this summer for a Tigers game.
My daughter got married downtown Detroit, and to go around there, it's so different than what it may have been thought of 20, 30 years ago. It's really, I mean, it's fun. There's great restaurants and a lot of good food all around the Metro Detroit area, and good times too.
Well, let's step aside, gentlemen. I'm a bystander at this point, pressing buttons, and that's what I'm good at. So let's take a break, get some Michigan News Network sports, and we'll be back on Friday Faceoff.
Sports on the Michigan News Network.
Tonight, a third Friday night game of the season for Michigan State football. Jonathan Smith Spartans will host the 1-9 Purdue Boilermakers in East Lansing at 8 o'clock. But he knows he can't let their guard down against this opponent.
They go to overtime with Illinois, a team that we just got beat by pretty good. So, I mean, they've got our attention. This team keeps playing. I give them some credit.
Spartans basketball making their way out to Hawaii. They've got the Maui Invitational starting on Monday with 3 straight games, beginning with undefeated Colorado. Tom Izzo said that freshman Jace Richardson expected to be ready to go after hurting his ankle earlier in the week. Final prep for high school state semifinals games on the gridiron. 11 games tomorrow include Hudsonville, Rochester Adams, Detroit CC versus Cass Tech, Frankenmuth, Grand Rapids CC, and many others around the state. The Lions getting their final full practice in before traveling to Indianapolis, where they'll try for a 9th straight victory for the first time since 1934. Chris Villar, Michigan News Network.
Chris, can you put the video game controller down for a second?
I can talk and play. Oh, I'm totally annihilating this punk kid in Nebraska.
I just feel like you're not acting like a grown-up in our relationship.
Am too.
Well, you still ride your skateboard to work, there's the comic book collection, the race car bed.
Look, I'm young at heart, but I put money into my 401k every paycheck. I picked up a few savings tips at feedthepig.org. I have control over my financial life now, and that feels pretty grown up.
Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. Putting some money from every paycheck into a savings account or contributing to your 401k can make a big difference later. For free ideas and easy tips on ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org.
So, I bet I look like a grown-up to you now.
Well, except for the footy pajamas, I'd have to agree.
This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Friday Face-Off. Rich Calkins, Keith Gave, JJ Rowell in studio with you. And Keith, we've determined during the break there that the Detroit Tigers is going to be the next topic of conversation. And, man, again, we haven't talked to you in such a long time. What an incredible run at the end of the season.
How different is this from a year or two ago in this same room talking about Detroit professional sports and how we were getting kicked around like crazy and
in
how
frustrating.
Every one of them. Yeah, and we just talked about the Lions and the Tigers. I got to tell you, I had given up on that team like a lot of other people, and the second half of that baseball season and down the stretch, I said this is never going to last. It'll never going to last. It lasted and it lasted, and they shot up into the playoffs. They went a couple rounds in the playoffs. It was special.
Unbelievable job what A.J. Hinch did with managing that team.
Yeah.
With after the trade deadline, they sold off their second best pitcher.
Yes.
To the eventual World Series champs, the Dodgers. Got some pieces back. Went with a youth movement, and in many, many bullpen days, and was able to piece together an incredible winning streak. It was just the most unlikely thing I've ever seen, I think, in Major League Baseball.
And it was amazing. They did it all without Javi Baez.
Yeah, as soon as he left.
Exactly.
He left the dugout and things got...
Exactly. Not only was he lousy in the field and at bat, but I don't think he was a good guy in the dressing room either. I really don't, and that was at least part of it. But Scott Harris took a beating for a while trying to piece this team together, and you know what? It came together for him. A.J. Hinch gets a lot of credit. Scott Harris gave him the players.
Yes.
And you know what? I'm optimistic going into spring training. I'm already looking forward to spring training, and I haven't said that in many years.
I'm really looking forward to the winter meetings with Scott Harris, because a lot of times that's when off-season moves are made.
Yes.
So I think Scott Harris, this is a big off-season for him, because if we're able to get some pieces here and there with this Tiger, especially in the lineup, we need some. We're left-handed. When's the last time you were left-handed dominant in the batting order?
Right.
That's wild.
Right.
You usually don't see that.
That's right.
To have 6, 7 guys batting left-handed in any given day starting lineup. So we need some right-handed bats for sure.
Yep.
We need some power. We need some guys that can hit it over the fence.
Yep.
And this will be a big off-season for Scott Harris.
Yeah, and you know, they have a bevy of good young pitchers if they can get their arms together and so on. You know, Casey Mize was a non-factor, and I still look for him to be a factor someday. He was too good when he was, a few years ago. And Spencer Turnbull and some other young pitchers. You gotta kind of like this team's future.
And of course, we talk about the pitching coach all the time there that came over from the University of Michigan, and what he is, Chris Fetter, and what he has done with this pitching staff. It's just remarkable. He tends to get an older pitcher that they sign, relatively cheap in today's day and age of baseball, and then what he's able to do with those mature guys and have them come into the lineup and teach them just a few things that he knows about pitching.
Right.
And it works.
That's a good point,
It's
Rich.
worked every year.
And I've been critical of him a little bit because I thought something has to be wrong with all these young arms coming in there and getting screwed up and everybody needing Tommy John surgery.
Yes.
That was a little frustrating. You get all excited about these young pitchers and they're all wind up hurt. And I didn't know. I surmised, I speculated from a distance, like an idiot, like most fans or whatever, that there was too much emphasis on spin ratios and all that other stuff. That it was affecting those young arms. Bottom line is there were a lot of injuries, but the fact remains he's made a difference with a lot of these, a lot of pitchers that have brought in here, unheralded, suddenly heralded, coming out of the bullpen.
That's right. Yeah, Jack Flaherty.
Yes.
He came in as a kind of quote-unquote run-of-the-mill starter guy.
Yep.
You're going to be your 4th or 5th starter. No big deal. He, with some of the tweaks that Federer did with him, all of a sudden he was our second best pitcher after Tarek Skubal, who again won unanimously the Cy Young Award this year. And so the future's bright for him. And like you said, we've still got guys in the farm system and coming up through the rank and file that are going to continue to develop. And we've got, what is it, like the latest Baseball Digest or whatever, where we have like 4 or 5 guys all in the top 100 that and coming up through the ranks. And it's just amazing.
You notice a corollary between the two teams we've been talking about the last few minutes, the Lions and the Tigers. Look what Brad Holmes with the Lions has done in the draft with all these players, 4th and 5th round guys being really critical players. He's drafting really well. I think Scott Harris seems to be. You know, the kids are coming. You know, that's kind of what we need to see. A little bit of luck with the Red Wings and the Pistons, you know, because it looks kind of like they're turning things around a little bit, but slow going for both those teams.
Yeah.
Did you have a favorite moment from the Tiger season? Anything stand out, like one big moment?
No, it was finally good to see. Obviously, the Tiger fans starting to show up in those last couple of series. I think most people, they caught everyone off guard. You know, just because there's no way they can continue this run. Because not only did they have to continue to win, they had to pass a couple of guys in the standings, you know. So we needed them to have a little bad luck and the Tigers to continue. So I don't have one specific moment.
That home run by Kerry Carpenter.
That was incredible.
That was right up there with the home run that Magglio Ordonez hit to put him in the World Series.
That was that Magglio shot. I relived that to left field there, and just
one of those moments where you knew exactly where you were when that happened.
Yes, yeah, no question. Yeah, that was for sure, and that's what, you know, to see some of those with the Kerry Carpenters and the different guys and the Riley Greens. You know, what do we do with Spencer Torkelson? You know, that's the big question. 31 home runs 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Really struggled this year big time. You know, so he's got to figure some things out.
But down the stretch he was okay.
It
was coming together for him.
Yeah.
Hey,
and
Rich.
We had a kid win the MVP in the Arizona Fall League this year too. A kid at like single A or double A that just dominated there. But
isn't it fun to talk positively about these teams after 4 or 5 years of? I'm going to talk to Jerry and maybe get my job back here.
Yeah, exactly. It's a whole lot more.
This is way more fun, man.
On Fridays now, and go, man, we got positive things to talk about. You know. No, it is really cool. It does change, Keith. Like you said, for years we've come in here with 4 professional sports teams that just weren't doing it, man. And we're
Jerry came in and said, "Where do you want to start?"
Trying to find.
I don't want to
start.
start
That silver lining somewhere in there, but now we do have silver linings in a couple of the organizations. That's for sure. Yeah, there. I like it, JJ. Honolulu blue and silver. That's right. But no, great. It's going to be a fun off season, Keith, for Tiger baseball, and looking forward again to until spring training starts.
Yeah.
In obviously in March there, February, March. So it's going to be lots of fun once again. All right, I'm going to turn this over to JJ. We'll be back on Friday Faceoff in a moment. We're going to talk Detroit Red Wings and maybe say something about the Pistons. All right, I'm done.
Join the Traverse City Record Eagles 11th Annual TC Trim Down. It's a great way to get healthier, and you could win a share of $1,800 in valuable gift certificates. Male, female, and co-ed teams of 2 or 4 can register now through January 7th for just $10 a person, a portion of which goes back to local food pantries. Achieve a healthier you over the 10-week virtual competition and benefit for a lifetime. Register now through January 7th at tctrimdown.com.
It's time to fly. Start your next comfortable, convenient journey from Northern Michigan's hometown airport, Cherry Capital Airport in Traverse City. TVC makes your trip easier with affordable terminal-adjacent parking and all the friendly airport services without all the crowds. Fly from Cherry Capital Airport to your dream destination on Allegiant, American, Delta, Sun Country, and United. Visit tvcairport.com and fly with TVC. Cherry Capital Airport in Traverse City.
Benetham's is thrilled to host all the holiday gatherings and get-togethers that have been a tradition for decades. Family and friends enjoying the famous Benetham's hospitality with a meal and holiday cheer. Visit Benethams.com to reserve the table that you'll need. Of course, the perfect stocking stuffer for anyone on your list is a Benethams gift card. Merry Christmas from the entire Benethams family, who want to thank you for being the greatest guests all year long.
The Comfort Center wants to say thank you for 50 years of business and support from our communities by giving away 2 free Lions tickets. Come in and enter for a chance to win with no purchase necessary. Stop in our Gaylord, Grayling, and Prudenville locations and enter up to 3 times. Mattresses, recliners, living room, dining room, deals as far as the Lions are going to go this season. November 22nd is the last day to enter for a chance to win. From all of us here at the Comfort Center, thank you for a great 50 years. Saving you more since 1974. Go Lions!
Everyone is invited to the Grayling Regional Chamber of Commerce Holiday Business After Hours, December 5th at the Asable Artisan Village Performing Arts Center. Join JC from Up North Sports Radio at 6 p.m. and spin the prize wheel. Delicious bites from local eateries, live music, raffles, door prizes, and that warm holiday spirit. Just $5 for Grayling Chamber members and $10 for the public. Dress as your favorite holiday movie character and maybe win a prize. The Holiday Business After Hours, December 5th with Up North Sports Radio.
Welcome back to Friday Faceoff. Rich Calkins and Keith Gave and JJ Rowell in studio with you one final time. And Keith, you were able to, we're going to talk a little bit of high school.
As long as we're on a high.
Let's go. Yes, keep rolling with those positive vibes, man. You went to a great volleyball match.
I did, Rich, and I'm excited to talk about it. You know, I've covered sports, you know, major college sports, professional sports, at a really high level for major news organizations for most of the last 40 years.
Sure.
But there's still nothing that gets me more excited, more feeling good about sports than high school sports.
Right.
And there's just nothing like the competition at that level. And I had the privilege of going to the at Grayling High School a couple of nights ago to watch Roscommon High School play Traverse City St. Francis in state quarterfinals in girls volleyball, and it was just a hell of a match. The St. Francis won 3 matches to 1. A couple of bounces either way, could have gone 5 matches easily. They were Roscommon was every bit as good. They lost, but they were the equal to St. Francis, which deserved to win. But I got to tell you, these girls. There was one point. I don't want to get melodramatic, Rich, but there was at one point in the middle of the 4 games, I got a little misty-eyed.
Right.
Because I was getting carried away by the pure passion and joy that these girls competed with. I just loved it. I'm getting worked up now just thinking about it. And I got to tell you, this Roscommon team, coached by Gabe Williams, is going to win a state championship in the next couple of years. They made it to the quarterfinals on a team largely their best talent are freshmen and sophomores.
Wow.
And Gabe has 2 daughters on the team, Mara and Reese. One's a sophomore, one's a freshman. 2 of their better players, but they got more besides those 2. They got several girls that are very, very good, highly competitive. Watch out for Roscommon girls volleyball in the next couple of years.
Very cool.
It was awesome.
That's all. And again, I totally agree with you with high school sports. You know, JJ and I are able to do Traverse City West games. You know, football and both basketball. Kids play because they want to play.
Yeah.
And that's it's the purity of the sport.
Yeah.
It's the, you know, there's not money involved up here, at least right now,
Right.
and I'm sure there is in some places and all that. But it's just it's getting to know these kids, and they're great kids, and doing things that they love. It's just so incredible to watch them, watch them grow, not only in the sport, but watch them as people develop as well. So Keith, I'm right with you. High school sports, just for me, is my favorite.
It's amazing how these kids can bring communities together too.
Yes.
Like we were in Grayling, but half of Roscommon was there, and it wasn't just parents and grandparents and so and students. There were a lot of people just from the community who were there to like us and a lot of other people just there to watch and see and support the team a little bit, and we all walked away about this high off the floor because it was such a great night of competition.
That's super cool. This stuff. Roscommon opened up a new. I always got to correlate things with food, by the way. Sorry about this, but Roscommon opened up a new Coney Island place
at my bank.
Yeah. Have you had a chance to go?
I
there
have
yet?
not yet. I can't wait. I can't wait. But it's a Coney Island place, and there's my friend Jim Perry Ellis is opening up a brewery in that building
is that
too,
right?
which will
Okay.
be a great place to drink. At the same place where I used to have to cover all my overdraft checks once upon a time, give Roscommon credit. They're doing a lot of really good things in that community, much like Grayling here. Grayling is, from the time when I moved here 25 years ago to where we are now in Grayling, it's quite remarkable the progress that we're seeing with microbreweries and all restaurants and so on coming here. But Roscommon's doing a pretty good job too.
They are.
Neat to see.
Yeah, it is. It's very cool.
Have you had the Conies?
I have not. No, but that's why I was wondering if you know. We're gonna go. I'm definitely going down there. My wife grew up in Roscommon, and so she, of course, we have strong ties there.
Sure.
So we're going to definitely go down there and check it out. Maybe that might be a lunch spot.
When you mentioned Coney Island, you're calling my name.
Oh yeah. Of course, you've had Lafayette. You've had all of them down in the Metro Detroit. You've had the Coney Island.
Yeah, you go to Lafayette, Coney Island. I'll go next door to National Coney Island.
National,
and
one of the other.
They're all good to me. They're all good.
But they're all unique in their own way, for sure. Keith, the Red Wings did get a win last night. Lucas Raymond, good for him to put the puck in the net because just his third goal on the season. Yeah. Even though he's got 18,
he's leading
points.
the team in points.
Yes.
Lucas Raymond is not their problem. He's played quite well. It'd be nice to see him score a little bit more, but he's doing everything he can along with Dylan Larkin. They scored with 51.1 seconds left to win the game. They were losing 2-0 or 1-0 in through two periods that were kind of tough to watch. They weren't very good.
The first goal was scored in the first period, so they shut them out.
Correct.
Rest of the game,
that's right.
Was a big deal.
Early in the first period, and but New York Islanders, to their discredit, I mean, Patrick Waugh behind the bench as their coach.
I see that, yes.
And, they're playing a 1-4 defense. They got four guys stacked along the blue line. They're playing not to lose, Yes. And instead of playing their game, and Detroit found a way to score a couple of goals and beat them anyway, which I kind of liked. But there's a lot of heat on Derek Lalonde because they're underachieving.
Yes.
They really are. But when you think about it, people get upset when Steve Yzerman keeps bringing in these veteran players, and what about the young guys? What about the young guys? Well, you know what? He got rid of some veteran players like David Perron, who I really liked a lot. But he's bringing up guys like Berggren, Marco Kasper, Edvinson, and so on. We can't have it both ways.
Sure.
You bring the kids up, you got to let them play, and there's going to be some growing pains with kids, which is maybe what they're experiencing right now. The goaltending's been better than I thought it would be, and defensively they still struggle beyond their first pairing of Mo Seider and Simon Edvinson's been a godsend.
I like the size.
Oh
of
my
those
Lord!
defensemen.
The Twin Towers there,
yes.
And but they have a really good power play, the worst penalty killing unit in hockey, and they can't score 5-on-5. They got to find a way to score more. But I still don't expect them to make the playoffs. I hope I'm wrong. Yeah. But
Boston made a fire, and they fired their head coach.
Yeah, Jim Montgomery. A lot of people say hire him. I don't know if he's the answer either. I'd prefer to see Gerard Gallant as the coach here. If they're going to make a change, Gerard Gallant, wherever he went, his players were, his teams were tough to play against. His players played with a belligerence that you kind of love, just the way he played when he was a player. But I don't know. Steve Yzerman says he doesn't like to make coaching changes in the middle of the season, so
So it would probably have to go way off the deep end then, for if he were to do something.
Yeah, like while I was watching the Red Wings last night, I kind of snuck over and checked in on the Pistons a little bit. They were getting beat by 20 in the third period. I said, well, okay, that this game's over. I don't have to worry about that. I looked at the score later on after the Red Wings game. Pistons pushed it into overtime and lost by 2. That's a different team.
It is. They've had some wins.
They're competing.
J.B. Bickerstaff has done a nice job as the coach.
They've got a half season's worth of wins already.
They're so far past the win total.
7 wins.
Oh my gosh.
8 wins, I think. Yeah.
You know, unfortunately, Cade Cunningham did go out late in regulation. I think with a hip contusion, he fell hard. But no, this is a different Pistons team for sure than what's the past few years.
Lions, Tigers, Red Wings, Pistons. You know, we're seeing light at the end of the tunnel with both those teams. But man, the light we're seeing from Lions and Tigers are bright and shiny. And
they are. Yeah,
nice.
That's
awakening the city.
Making it so much fun, that's for sure. And I want to mention real quick, best of luck, Traverse City St. Francis. They play in the volleyball semifinals today. Good luck with that. Boynton City tomorrow will take on, who do they take on? Doesn't matter, but they're playing in the semifinals as well. JJ is one of these matches. I saw that Mount Pleasant is hosting a playoff thing. JJ and I are very familiar with that press box there, and so they're able to host a football game there. But best of luck to all of our North Central Michigan teams as they make a run towards state championships.
This is a great time of year for high school sports.
Oh, it is. Yeah,
it's really
incredible.
Good. Really good.
And JJ and I will get started next Tuesday night as Traverse City West takes on Grand Haven down at Grand Haven, our first boys basketball game. And we're going to call
already.
Wow. We're going to call 4 or 5 girls basketball games this year as well. Give them some love. And,
good.
Should have a pretty solid team at Traverse City West. They won 19 games last year.
Wow.
District champs. So looking for a repeat of that, maybe even a little deeper run this year. That'll be fun.
Good.
So, it's been a lot of fun. So thanks for joining us on Friday Faceoff. We appreciate everything. And back to Infinity Sports. JJ, thanks for helping out. Keith, always good to see you, buddy.
Thanks for letting me crash the party.
You bet. Enjoyed it.
Got to send some love out to Fick & Sons, your local competitive and reliable propane provider. They're so much more than just propane. They also provide home heating fuel for residential and commercial customers. From Charlie's Country Corners right off 4 Mile Road on I-75 outside Grayling. That includes an Arby's, a convenience store in the Super 8 by Wyndham, and a full-service diesel garage in Roscommon. They have the Sunny Spot Fuel and Convenience Store. If you're around Kalkaska, stop into Bear Lakes Marathon to fuel up and grab your drinks and snacks. In Whittemore is the Crossroads Citgo, offering gas to include diesel and racing fuel, snacks, drinks, and an excellent deli. They also offer propane cylinder refills and exchanges throughout northern Michigan. Check out everything they have to offer by going to fickandsons.com.
There's been a little bit percolating up on my timeline, and folks I know put out with Notre Dame's lack of what they would see as marquee wins and questioning how they're going to do when, if, presuming they're in the college football playoff, they win out. How do you assess this Notre Dame football team, hopefully once they're playing top competition in the college football playoff?
Everyone will see they have the best defense in the nation. I think it's like top 3 now because of passing yards allowed, but Coach Freeman has put in the backups to gain strength and development and depth on his depth chart, so that's given away some scores. But they're the best defense, even though they're missing their 3 best players. And then Riley Leonard's starting to look like the Riley Leonard everybody hoped he would be